Well, I just woke up this morning. I saw a dolphin porpoising, so I came running out in my bare feet to try and catch a picture of the dolphin porpoising. But it didn't happen again, and my feet are sore. Well, I'm on the PCH this morning, having my coffee, morning coffee, and I'm here because I came out here last night after being rousted from my spot for parking more than 2 hours. Got to kind of understand my perspective on that. I was there for about 2 months last year and barely moved. And I got one ticket for being there for 2 hours. So I thought today would be a good day to talk about parking in general, and especially while all that traffic is going on over there behind me. Can't do a video about parking out here in this beautiful scenery because the light's too strong and I won't look very attractive in most of the lighting. I realized I could show you the best and the worst of LA in one photo shoot, one video. All I have to do is get this camera to zoom out, and then I can show you the traffic that exists. Those houses are beautiful to live in. Would be just fantastic place to live, except that when you want to go down the road, you run into this. This is going to last until about 10 o'clock in the morning. So my first cup of coffee is on the PCH, about maybe a mile inside from LA, a mile inside the Malibu border. And I'm inside the truck, or inside my bus. I don't know if you can see it. Out there is the world's worst traffic. Honestly, we're 9 or 10 miles from LA in Malibu, and these people are on their way to work in LA and their little communities in between. So they're just going by slowly, enjoying their morning. They need to leave 2 hours before they have to get to be at work. And of course, I'm at work and I'm at home. Home is where you park it, and work is where you park it. And what do you call it? I think the best thing to do is imagine somebody with a perpetual summer. Staying and hanging out wherever I feel like. So today I can talk to you about parking. I guess it's because I don't have very many parking problems. I don't want to really talk to people as if I'm an expert. I live on the West Coast, and most communities on the West Coast are very different, perhaps, than those on the East Coast, or so I'm told. When I want to park, I simply park wherever I want to park. That's the basic rule. The thing that stops me from parking in any place is the sign, the parking signs. So in Venice Beach, I park more or less at the same spot because I get Wi-Fi anytime I like. However, the parking sign says 2 hours maximum. But I learned that in Venice Beach they don't have, I guess what you call it, parking cops or bylaw enforcement officers coming around regularly to give out those 2-hour parking tickets. Probably because they're not paid, it's not really worth it for them. And there's probably a lot of disputes, etc. So the cost versus benefits just don't exist. So if you're lucky enough to be in a community where they put up the sign but they don't enforce it, then signs are less important. That 2-hour parking limit exists from like 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. or something like that. Otherwise, I'm free to park there. And the reason I choose that spot is because it does have a sign that says vehicles over 7 feet are allowed to park in a certain part of that block. So when I'm parking, I'm paying attention to all the parking signs, and only when I get a whiff or I learn that the community is not enforcing those, 2-hour limit type of thing, then that's the only time I would stay in the parking spot over the 2 hours. But in this case, yesterday, I was actually sitting in my truck working. I was putting together yesterday's video and uploading it, etc. In fact, I just got it uploaded, and then that woman came along, and that's why I needed McDonald's, so that I could, or not, I shouldn't call her, she is a woman, she was a parking enforcement officer. Anyway, when she came along, I had just finished uploading my video, so I went to McDonald's because I need right away to give it a title and a description, etc., and some keywords. So, because I was in the truck, she told me that she was going to give me a ticket and I could leave. So I avoided the ticket because I was in the truck. That's the only other time that I kind of ignore parking signs, is if I'm actually sitting in my vehicle. If I'm sitting in it, they don't seem to bother you, and they almost never would give you a ticket. At nighttime, you need to have a place that is essentially non-residential, someplace where there will be no one complaining. I bring up the complaining because it's really important. I did get a ticket in my spot in Venice Beach last year. I got it because I was parked over 2 hours, so I got a 2-hour parking ticket. But I got it because I woke up in the morning, early in the morning, and started my bus, which is diesel, and it's quite loud when it starts. So perhaps somebody in the neighborhood heard the vehicle and complained, and then that day I got a ticket for parking over 2 hours. But the person in front of me and the person behind me didn't. So they had singled me out because I had done something wrong and there had caused some kind of complaint. Once a complaint is generated, they have to go out and do something, of course. So yesterday, while I was uploading the video, there were some police that came along to get some guys who were sort of squatting on the side of the road. They weren't actually squatting, they were hanging out in Whole Foods parking lot. Whole Foods security guards talked to them. They mouthed off back and forth, I guess, until the security guards called the police. So the police came to get these guys off the parking lot, which would also bring the bylaw enforcement officer, which is the reason why I was asked to leave or before I get my ticket. So in most cases, you can park within the law and not have any problem. And if you are breaking the law in the sense that you are over limit in terms of time or even height or whatever, if you're with the vehicle and can move it right away, that's what they want, is the vehicle moved. They don't want to give you a ticket. So I could probably say 360 days of the year I've had no problem with parking. And about 5 occasions I've had a minor inconvenience or a ticket. If you added up all the tickets, I'm still parking for maybe 75 cents a day. When I'm traveling down the highway, I just pull off the highway. I don't know what to say to you, I just pull off. Where it's pretty. Where it's really nice. I've got a view of the ocean or something like that, where it is actually an amazing place to wake up. I don't go scouting around neighborhoods to see if I can find someplace. I've never had a problem scouting anywhere. When in doubt, I've just Googled or checked out my maps on the Apple to find a McDonald's or a Starbucks. Starbucks is a good place during the day because I get Wi-Fi. In the evening, if I go to a McDonald's, it's generally in an area I can just park on the street. It's like parking on the street in front of a shopping center or something like that. No one's going to hassle you there. So I just pull over. One day I parked right in front of McDonald's, the front door. When I woke up in the morning, the front door of McDonald's was 15 feet away. And I had Wi-Fi all night. So I keep watching these videos with all of these van dwellers, the stealth van dwellers. Remember, I'm in a school bus. with solar panels on the side. I am the ugliest thing on the road. I stand out like an absolute sore thumb. But the other guys have a stealth van that looks like anyone else's van. Can fit into any neighborhood anywhere. And they're the ones that are talking about having a problem. Just for a moment, guess who makes their problem? They're so afraid, so fearful, they make all of their fears come true. And then they preach them to you. The only absolute problem that I know of that people might have living in any vehicle is that when it is too long or too high. Too high is a problem in the city because it's too high. Too high, it covers businesses and things like that, and no business wants a tall vehicle in front of its store sign. Too long is simply so big, there's no parking spot for it in a city. You can only park it in the boondocks somewhere. And no matter where you park it, it's always taking up a big pile of space and is way more obvious than my little school bus. So even though I got booted from a parking spot yesterday, and today that particular spot is used because it's they closed down the whole street on today's Thursday for the day on Thursday till about 9 or 10 tonight, and they closed it down probably because they're going to be delivering some large large pieces of furniture or large displays or whatever to a vacant area in the shopping center that I parked nearby. So even though I got kicked out of my parking spot yesterday, I still have no problem, so I'm going to go back there tomorrow or tonight. And I'll be there for a few weeks and never get hassled for my 2-hour ticket because there will be it'll take 2 weeks for the guys to come back that are sort of making a problem in the parking lot. And I can enjoy my coffee on a PCH by the beach. Well, I personally hate these sort of how-to videos, so I'm going to wrap this up. Really, parking's not a problem. People should just use their head and just go about doing what they do, and at the very worst, what normally happens is you're asked to move, which certainly is not a bad thing, because you just move. If you like these videos, please subscribe. If you want to see a cranky old man now and then, it's a good place to hang out. And as I progress, you'll also be able to see some beautiful girls. So like the video if it's likable, and I'll see you tomorrow or in my next video.